Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sarah Hanani bin Abdul Rahim. So today I am going to explain about the tutorial question in chapter 5 about Tun Abdul Razak. So there are many bilateral relationships between Malaysia and other foreign countries that is formed during Tun Abdul Razak's premiership. So one of the bilateral relationship is between Malaysia and also Indonesia. So Tun Abdul Razak had signed a peace treaty with President of Indonesia, the second President of Indonesia at the time, which is President Suharto, which ends the confrontation between Malaysia and Indonesia. So before the sign of peace treaty, actually Indonesia and Malaysia had a bad blood. This is because Indonesia's first president, which is Sukarno, opposed the idea of Malaysia that is proposed by Tun Abdul Rahman. So at that time, the president of Indonesia, which is Sukarno, the first president of Indonesia, had a series of opposition such as Ganyang Malaysia. So this leads to serious matters such as the infiltration of air of Malaysia, and also the raids of border at Sabah and Sarawak, and also they infiltrate the Johor's coastal areas, and worse, they degrade Malaysia internationally. But the confrontation was ended when Tun Abdul Razak and Indonesia's second president, which is Suharto, signed the peace treaty and end the conflict of Ganyang Malaysia between Indonesia and Malaysia at 1966. So the second bilateral relationship that is formed during Tun Abdul Razak's era can be seen between Malaysia and also China. So Tun Abdul Razak has become one of the first in ASEAN country leaders that form a relationship with China. This is because to realize how big and huge influence that China have towards the rest of the world at that time. So as China itself is a very big country, so everything that happen in China can influence the economy of the rest of the world. So Tun Abdul Razak had worked on the relationship between Malaysia and China, which leads to the establishment of Sino-Malaysia diplomatic relationship. So this diplomatic relationship has benefited Malaysia in many ways. For example, in 1971, Malaysia had a very terrible flood happen. So at the time, China Trade Mission had visit Malaysia and donate 500,000 ringgit as a relief to help Malaysia to recover from the flood. So this diplomatic relationship also benefit Malaysia until these very days. For example, in the early days of COVID-19, so China was the first country that experienced the virus. So they had shortage of face mask, shortage of PPE. So at that time, Malaysia helped China by sending PPE and face masks to help them, to help the doctors there. So to help the doctors. So in return, when Malaysia also had the same problem, we have the shortage of PPE and face masks. China sent help. China China help us by giving many face masks, many PPE, which benefit Malaysia, which help Malaysia at that time. Okay, so this relationship between China and Malaysia really benefit Malaysia, and really benefit both country in many ways. That is until today. Okay, so we move on to the second question. Okay, so Red Book and Green Book are both Tun Abdul Razak's policies in order to develop Malaysia. It is a development policy. Okay, so Red Book is a policy that focus on increasing the infrastructure and also the facility in the rural areas. Okay, so that is because in the old days, rural areas they live in the jungle area. They did not have a systematic road system. They did not have school. They did not have hospital. So they have to work. They have to walk many days. They have to drive in a non-systematic road to go to the hospital or school in the urban areas. Okay, so Red Book is aimed to reduce the illiteracy rate and also to eliminate poverty among the rural areas at the time. Okay, so one of the big project that is conducted under Red Book is creating a systematic road system. Okay, so for example, at that time the government create road system that connect rural areas to the urban areas and also to government facilities, which is market, hospital, school. So it helps the people of rural areas at that time to go to these government facilities. Okay, so the systematic road is very important to develop a nation. So these rural areas can link to the government facilities so that they can experience, so they can enjoy the facilities, the benefit that government give, so that they will enjoy whatever the people in urban areas enjoy. Okay, so the second project under Red Book is increasing the number of hospital. Okay, so by increasing the number of hospital, as people in Malaysia is also increasing, the population is also increasing, so increasing the number of hospital is a very brilliant idea. So there are enough doctors, there are enough beds to help people that are needed, to help people that are sick. Okay, so the hospital are complete with medical equipment and also bed. Okay, so the third big project under Red Book is increasing the number of school, especially in rural areas. Okay, so this is important so that people in rural areas also get the same benefit, same education as kids in the urban areas, because at that time people the illiteracy rate among the communities in rural areas are very high. So it is very alarming, because in order to have a developed nation, we have to reduce the illiteracy rate among the citizens. Okay, so these development plans are very fundamental, are very important. So in order to develop a nation, that the economic and social gap between rural areas and also urban areas are small, the gap is not too big. Okay, secondly, Green Book. So Green Book is a agricultural development plan which focus on the use of the land. Okay, so Tun Abdul Razak at that time encouraged farmers to use short-term crops so that they can harvest the yield quickly, okay, in a short period of time. Okay, so Tun also had encouraged the livestock farming. Okay, livestock such as the rearing of the cow, ternak lembu, rearing of the chicken. Okay, so this is very important because it can bring advantage to the economy of the country, as it contributes to the supply of the food in the country, sustainable agriculture, and also it reduces the damage to the environment because as it is a different type of farming, it is a natural type of farming. Okay, so this agricultural development plan is fundamental, so it can be used to increase the income of citizens and tackle unemployment in Malaysia. So during this time, there are many representatives that supervise the agricultural activities that is actively taking part in the community. Okay, so the implementation of Green Book leads to Malaysia become the world largest producer of rubber. Okay, so Malaysia had become the huge producer of rubber at that time. Okay, so we export the rubber to many countries at that time. So Tun also had set up Petronas, Petroleum National Berhad, in order to exploit the oil sources to the maximum. That's all for me. Thank you.